Hey guys, it's me Eric, one of the education specialists for Easton Bank's Learning and Life Center, and welcome back to our channel. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe, like this video, comment, share, and do not forget to click the notification bell in the left or right corner of your screen to be notified of when we drop new videos, which is every single week. If you are already a part of our channel, thanks for coming back for another video. Make sure to join our newsletter as well as support our program through our merch storefront by going to our website, EBLLCinc.com, and you can find all of that information on there. Our merch storefront has a lot of different merch that we have created in the past few months, and we will be adding some, holiday themed merch to our storefront very, very soon. So go check that out. Also follow us on our social media. We can be followed on Facebook and Instagram at EBLLCinc and on TikTok at Project Grape. Now that we've done all of that, let's get into today's video. As you see in today's title, we are talking about the life cycle of sweet potatoes. Now, before we go any further, if you haven't watched our video on how to grow and harvest sweet potatoes, click that link right there at the right corner of your video. Go watch that video and then come back to this one. And in this video, we're going to be discussing how sweet potatoes grow, their origin, their makeup, how to take care of them, how to harvest a little bit, and how to cure, and just everything about sweet potatoes. So let's get into it. Being a Black American from the South, I know a lot about sweet potatoes, especially when smelling the sweet aroma coming from the kitchen when my aunts bake sweet potato pies for the holidays. Sweet potatoes are such a tasty vegetable that are easy and great to grow in your home garden. In today's video, we will discuss the life cycle of sweet potatoes. Sweet potatoes are considered a root tuber, meaning that the sweet potato vegetable is the storage center of the sweet potato plant. The structural makeup of the sweet potato plant differs from that of an everyday potato plant, which are considered stem tubers, underground stem structures. Sweet potatoes were cultivated in Peru, just like the potato, around 750 BCE. Sweet potatoes were cultivated in Peru, just like the potato, around 750 BCE. These vegetable plants were once toxic to eat, but were made edible through the cultivation by Peruvian civilization, which is so cool. Sweet potatoes are a tropical plant which take 90 to 100 days to grow and develop the underground tubers. Potatoes have developed into several different skin and flesh tones, which can be red, purple, brown, white, and orange. These plants can become so large that they store for months, ready for you to enjoy in the kitchen at any time. Sweet potatoes grow the best in loamy, nutrient-dense soil. The potato slips are able to root themselves deep and grow through the rooted vines that are produced. So that's why you want to make sure that your potatoes grow large by removing the green vines from the soil so that they don't root and deprive the initial planted roots of nutrients. With patience, constant watering during the summer months, and protection from pests, you'll then be ready for a late summer, early fall harvest. When harvesting, make sure to remove the vines from the top layer of the soil. Also, remember that where you placed each slip, because that's where most of your potatoes will be. That's where you'll find them. You can either use a pitchfork, hand fork, or a hand cultivator to dig around the soil for the sweet potatoes. Utilizing these types of tools will hopefully prevent you from cutting, poking, or bruising your sweet potatoes. Even if you damage your harvest, as long as you let the sweet potatoes cure, they'll be able to scab over and you will still be able to enjoy your harvest. When curing your sweet potatoes, treat this process as any other curing process for garlic, onions, and any other root crop. You will want to store these sweet potatoes in a dry and cool place so that the sugars that are stored in the sweet potatoes will become more prominent. Then after that, you can enjoy as many sweet potatoes as you want. Here at our garden, we are letting the sweet potatoes cure in the greenhouse for about 2 weeks. And after that, all of the families that we serve will be able to enjoy the sweet potato harvest. So there are actually two ways that you can start your sweet potato slips. What we did, we purchased a sweet potato from the grocery store, our local grocery store. That was in like mid-February of this past year. And we put it in some soil and made sure that it had consistent water. And this went on for about, so I would guesstimate 3 to 4 weeks. And during this time, the slips of the sweet potato started to grow. And like I said, we made sure that it had consistent water. And you can do two things once it gets to this point of actually growing the vines, aka the slips. You can either put the entire sweet potato in your raised bed, in the ground, or in a container wherever you plan to grow your sweet potatoes. Or you can let the slips, aka vines, get larger and actually start to produce roots. So if you take the route that we took by letting the slips produce roots, once the slips get large enough, in like 4 to 5 feet, then you can actually remove the slips, but you have to do it carefully. Remove the slips along with the roots and then transition them into where they will be grown throughout the summer until the fall comes. So that's what we did. We waited till our slips got 4 to 5 feet long, and then we gently removed them along with the roots that were attached. And we were able to procure, like, I would say 6 slips from this one potato. A lot more slips started to grow, so we did just toss the sweet potato in a bucket and let the slips grow a little bit bigger. And then we transitioned them to the community garden as well. So we had 2 locations where we had sweet potatoes growing. Now, the places where we have had sweet potatoes grow. We've had the sweet potatoes grow in ground at the community garden, as well as in a raised bed where you see us harvesting now at the school. The sweet potatoes at the community garden did not fare as well, and that's only because they didn't have a long enough time to actually grow. We put the sweet potatoes in about late August, I think, and that's, even though it seems like a lot of time, that's still not a lot of time because they only had like 2 months to grow fully. And the other sweet potatoes at the school had like the entire summer to grow and develop. So you want to make sure that you are providing enough time from planting all the way up to harvest, enough time for your sweet potatoes to grow. You want to make sure that as long as they can stay in the ground before the first frost, you want to make sure that they stay in the ground, especially if you did not put them in the spring and you waited. You want to make sure that your sweet potatoes have enough time to take all of that organic material in, all of that compost, the fertilizer, the fish emulsion, everything you give it to eat. You want to make sure that that sweet potato plant is storing all of those nutrients in the roots, developing the actual sweet potato plant, vegetable that you're going to harvest. In regards to pests, we really didn't deal with too many pests this year. The only pest that I know of that we dealt with was the Japanese beetle, and that was the very first time that we've ever dealt with that particular pest in the garden. And it's so strange and so cool because every other year there's something new that we deal with in the garden, and that's I think that's what I really enjoy about gardening and about teaching our youth participants. Like, there's something always new. Every year there's something new that happens that didn't happen before, and you have to learn how to adapt. And so this year, the adapting that we did was adapting to Japanese beetles, because they were on everything. They were on our green bean plants, edamame plants, okra plants, sometimes the tomatoes. And then I noticed that they started to migrate to our sweet potatoes and our grapevines. So they were everywhere, and we had to just coexist with them, like remove them, but still coexist with them. Because this year we really didn't use any sprays. I think I sprayed once with neem oil, and that was in the spring. That was like around April. I sprayed like once, and after that, once you get that first like wave of pests, you're just like, okay, y'all gonna do what you're gonna do, and I just have to work with you. And so that's why it's a good idea to interplant. And interplanting is just putting plants that pests don't like marigolds, petunias, what's the other plants? I know a lot of the pests really enjoyed a certain variety of green bean that we had in the garden. And so you really just want to put plants in the garden that are either going to deter pests or have pests gravitate towards them, meaning that they won't attack the plants that you really want to harvest from. So that's what we really did. We just interplanted and made sure that we had enough plants so that in the case that anything did become overrun with pests, we still had enough to harvest. All I can say is that our harvest was really great. We are building raised beds further near the entrance of the garden, and that will provide us the space to grow even more sweet potatoes and more food. So I'm super excited and I can't wait. Moving forward, we will continue to grow sweet potatoes in raised beds. I feel like it just takes less work to actually prepare the in-ground soil, because sweet potatoes love loose soil. Any root crop is going to love loose soil. And when I say loose soil, I'm not meaning like soil that does not have any ability to adhere to the roots. When I say loose soil, I mean loamy soil that's nutrient dense, that does have a little bit of clay, but not too much, where it can still move about and the roots of your plants can still move easily through. And sweet potatoes really love that. As you can see, they really enjoyed where we had them, and I'm so glad that the students used the hugelkultur method of gardening to create this raised bed, because the soil is really good and it made a great home for these sweet potatoes. So again, watch that video on how we grew and harvested the sweet potatoes. We hope you enjoyed today's video. Let us know in the comments if you learned anything new about sweet potatoes, where they come from, their origin. I've been doing so much reading on the Peruvian cultures and how they just cultivated all of the food that, not all, but some of the food that we really enjoy, like the potato and sweet potato plants. And it's so cool that thousands of years ago, these plants were toxic, and through human cultivation, we now enjoy them thousands of years later. So it's really cool. I would encourage you to do your own research and just read more about where our food comes from, where it has come from, because you will be surprised. Thank you again for watching today's video. Make sure to follow us on social media. Go check out our merch. And we'll see you all in the next video. Bye.